Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Polina here, talking to you a little bit about June. And why is this an audio and not a video? Is because I'm having some technical difficulties, but that's okay. It's good, changes come, things happen. I'm at the beach at the moment actually, so maybe getting some of that ambience in this audio as intended. And yes, let's look at the charts for June. So the main thing is that we are really creative now, and we should really let those juices flow. As we are in a dragon year and a wooden dragon year, it's really possible to make amazing things come true. We are heading well towards solstice. That is going to happen at about 21st, 22nd of June. So there's going to be quite a lot of ideas and quite a lot of extraordinary experiences and feelings and emotions coming through, as this is the time, especially if you're living in the northern hemisphere or your ancestors have come from the northern hemisphere. So you would naturally have a certain type of peak as we're heading into this IC section of the universal chart, the space between Gemini and Cancer, which ushers in something very special, something very tasteful, something very enormous sometimes for people. It is not all that sometimes, but certain people can manifest incredible things. It kind of depends on how you think and how you feel. Thought is Gemini and feelings is Cancer. So in a sense, we are here starting this month with Gemini, and it is kind of about being quick. It's about being quick to judge a situation. It's about developing your inertia and your third eye. And it's definitely about your eyes, your natural sight, and your natural thought patterns becoming more clear and crisp. So being very intuitive also has to do with being alert and being present and feeling different in the moment. It is about opportunities. Though not everything is wise, not every single thing that Gemini offers us this year around is wise, but it is going to always lead you to something else and something else and something else. So we have little sagas. Sometimes it's kind of like following the rabbit down the rabbit hole and seeing what happens. In a sense, it's not really about that either. It's more just about variety, and it is to a degree about saying hello to many individuals. Maybe you need to meet somebody new during this time. Maybe you need to go to a party. Maybe you need to move your soul, move yourself, and just feel what moves you and what comes to you. So it's kind of about serendipity. It's about feeling free. It's about freshness, and it's also sometimes about a little bit of hysteria. So there's this chance that sometimes, we miss out on things and then we get them back, or sometimes it's like, oh, why did I do this? I should have done that. Well, I got it all wrong. Sometimes this also happens, and for sure, in a very juvenile way, Gemini does usher in a lot of hysteria and a lot of talk and a lot of anger, and sometimes people will be foaming at the mouth because they feel a lot of fear or they feel a lot of anxiety. So that's the shadow of Gemini. Maybe I'll start here. So if you are feeling really angry or really triggered or piqued, this could also be something that your nature actually needs. So a bit of catharsis and a bit of anger and a bit of fright can sometimes line you up pretty well actually. So not to feel desperate anymore, not to feel sad anymore. Fear can sometimes actually transform things. Maybe not everybody agrees, but in a sense, if we feel very passive and we're not really living our life, or we're not taking care of ourselves, sometimes a little bit of fear or a little bit of a fright, a little bit of anger can actually somehow push us onto the right track, or at least push us out of certain situations and thinking patterns. So if you are working with extremes during this month and you have a lot of contrasts and contradictions and you feel a lot of anger or shame or pain or anything like that, just trust it. It's a feeling. You're feeling something. And that is great. And for those of us that are not feeling anything, try to awaken your senses. It's really good to also awaken your spirituality through the sight and through organizing yourself based on inertia, meaning that curiosity and magnificence and game playing maybe, or just skill sharing is at the peak of this time for you now. It's about being a little bit extroverted. It's about being a little bit mad sometimes, because Gemini does bring out the jester, the mad jester within. And in a sense, it's also about being a little bit controversial sometimes, especially if you've been sort of following a very safe route and you've been seeking peace and you haven't actually really felt anything for a long time. So feelings and emotions, being here for the people that love you, that you love back. Also feeling a lot of energy, being awake And having all those senses tingling is kind of what it's all going to be about for some people. Feeling the thrill of the chase, enjoying the party, doing things that are best for you, and also sometimes being awake to the contrast as being a guiding mechanism. You know, if you listen to Esther Hicks, maybe, she does say a lot about contrasts and about how if you're experiencing something negative, or if you are experiencing that which you didn't really think you were lined up to experience, don't worry, just use the feelings, use the experiences that are lined up for you in a month like this to get yourself where you actually know that you want to be. It's not all about what you want to do. Unfortunately, some of this Gemini energy is a bit rubbishy, it's a bit trashy, so not everything sticks. Sometimes things are just kind of in the moment and they're between space and time. Not everything you get to keep. Not all of your life may be for keeps during this time. So for the people that really, really want to possess, that's difficult. Finding a home can be difficult for some people. Sticking yourself next to somebody or finding a permanent place of work may not necessarily be, but you may find something or somebody that will lead you onto a clearer path. So it's just about instinct, it's about inertia. It's about having fun, basically. And it's about enjoying who you are and who you would love to be next. And it is also about changing. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to be in an office all day. I want to go to the beach. Or I don't want to be a person that defines themselves by how much money I have or how well my business is going. I want to be free. And it could also be vice versa. Like, I don't want to just spend time here. I want to get to the nitty gritty, or I want to work out, or I want to get my life together. So this kind of depends on you. There are lots of masks flying around. Gemini does bring out the jester. But it also likes us to see the different faces, the different aspects of other people, and sometimes they're just a mirror of ourselves. Mirroring effect is what Gemini truly is. Seeing things for what they are, but also understanding that they have a flip side, and there's also like a danger in that. There's a lot of rock hard facts that we are actually instinctively also looking for. In certain situations, people will be hunting for something or somebody. Gemini is the opposite of Sagittarius. As you know, Sagittarius likes to aim and shoot. You know, it's looking for a target. In a sense, Gemini energy, it does really want something in the end. Because also at the end of Gemini, we have Cancer, and Cancer is about keeping things relatively still and moist and ongoing and on-turning, and letting things carry on. So like family, genes, passing on your genes to the next generation. You know, it's about saving things for later keeping. It's also about guarding things at home. It's about having a stash. So there's definitely a good looking and beautiful feeling that sometimes Gemini is looking for. It's looking for something better than. It's looking for the most. And it's looking for the best. And in a sense, that's not for everybody. But in certain cases, people are going to benefit just by recognizing and using their eyes and using their thought to define what's best. So it's not just about glamour. It's not just about randomly just choosing, you know, what you think is the most important in a moment, but it also is. So it's about learning how to fixate your energy, learning how to spend your money. Sometimes for certain people, we do have Jupiter going for Gemini now. It's about learning how to better connect and get the most effects. If you're a painter, maybe you know what I mean. It's like how to get the best effect out of your paintbrush, you know, how to get the most wholesome or the most beautiful result, or how to get there where you want it to be, maybe for a long time. So it's a very, very nice feeling. It's kind of not all about having that thing though. It's not about having and holding on and bringing yourself to a point where you really need something or somebody. It's more just about evolution. And in a sense, it's about pinging ideas. It's also about people pinging at you. Quantums, it's about miracles. It's about sudden gestures. It's about health rising for some people. It's about emotions being more free and more loving. And also about being a little bit more economical. It's not actually really about sort of like the throat chakra and expressing yourself and explaining things. It's not about telling people how you feel. It doesn't actually have to be so intense. It's more just about a shallow change. And I suppose the challenge that I have, and a lot of other people have, is letting go of things after they happen. So you don't think about them anymore. The one thing I really love about Gemini, and what I found also in the audios that I've prepared for Gemini season for every sign, which are coming up online on Patreon. Have a look at the links below. On my Patreon, you'll see everything that I make is on Patreon. So the thing that I found is that Gemini could also be kind of defined as a cleansing spirit. So this hullabaloo, a little bit here, a little bit there, going to a party over here, meeting somebody there. Why do we do it? And sometimes people are like, it all just seems shallow and frivolous and pointless. What's the point? How do I get the most out of my day? Well, the point is to cleanse back to a point where you feel really good about yourself. So sometimes we gather responsibilities, karmas, we've spoken words and we've done deeds, and we get kind of overgrown. If you can imagine, our relationships get burdensome, our ideas get kind of tacky or dull, our ideologies about life get confusing, and we have just a lot, like we have a mishmash of things, we don't really know what to do with it. So sometimes Cancer will also do this as well. There comes a period of time where you just gotta leave it alone. You gotta give things away. It's a beautiful time to be given things, and also to give things away that you don't need. It's beautiful to go through a bunch of experiences, a bunch of conversations, or a bunch of personalities, and get what you want in the end, kind of. It's a certain type of truth that we are coming to. It's a certain type of also drawback that I'm seeing during this time, as not many people can recognize the truth for what it is. And the reason is because it's too flaky for us sometimes. It's too pure, and quite often actually very pure things are very simple, very easy on the eye. We sometimes don't like them. It's like, no, like where is the worth? Where is the meaning? Also, if you've been brought up in a certain type of family that was chasing meaning and status and, power and truth and philosophies, maybe you would be probably a little bit like me, confused when you finally find that special someone, or when you finally find that special place. You might be very confused, and the reason is because love is simple, light is simple, life is simple. The life that you want to be living probably is right in front of your eyes. It's right in front of you. But we can forget sometimes. And also what I see myself do, also being raised in a certain type of family tree and community for many years, is that I forgot how to be just me. I had to be somebody. So I had to present a certain way, I had to respect people, had to study, had to learn, had to go here, go there, and complicate things in order to kind of orchestrate a life that other people saw as a good life for me. So maybe you also have that going on. If you like the spoken word, and if you like to read, very likely that you enjoy overcomplicating things. But some of the time, the extreme of beauty, or the peak of adventure, or the wholesome space is not the most complicated. It's so wise. This time of year is so pure. It is so healthy, and it's so here and now that we can't believe it. And it seems a little bit messy for some people, as they are still thinking in the past. So they're putting money first, or they're putting mum and dad first, they're putting their previous commitments first, they're putting other people first. And also maybe their tastes are very complicated tastes, and what they expected in life was very unusual, unique, or very hard to do. Maybe it's very hard to breathe, Jupiter the breath. Maybe it was always very hard to be you. So what I basically found happening for me during the first bouts of Gemini is just like, you got to release what you think always and try to go with the moment. Try to initiate who you are and do things that wouldn't usually be done by you. And also try to turn up, if you can, and if you want to increase momentum, because it is all about synchronicity and momentum. This time is very free, very lovely, very loving, very open, and very kind of zingy. Bring out what you know. So for example, if you know how to cook well, cook for others. If you know how to sing in front of other people, dance in front of other people. And it's also, for some reason, like maybe not good enough sometimes for you what you've got, but bring it out anyway. Be open, and even if it causes a laugh, even if other people laugh, be okay with it, because this is also a release. Laughter is the best medicine during this time. Having a laugh at yourself, having a laugh at what you thought was good enough for you previously, and raising the roof, and keep on raising that roof. till you find that space where you can just feel the love. So at the end of the day, this whole period of time is just about wanting to love and be loved. And sometimes it's just about, like, I just want to feel happy. There are a lot of people also sometimes come in and they want me to walk them through their chart as to what they can do and what they can apply themselves to be more effective. And I do understand that's a very worthy cause and effect. That's a worthy question. But then there's also this other thing, just love. Like, love yourself, love the moment. And this is when magic can happen. And also, even if you have predisposed traits in your chart, you have predisposed bugs in your system or your lineage, there are sometimes miracles. There are magic moments and people that can drive you out of where you thought you would be for such a long time and spin you and keep you going in this beautiful momentum of time that inevitably lands you in the right place at the right time, and you didn't even know how, but it all happened for you or right in front of your eyes. So it's just more about love. It's more about brilliance. It's about having fun, having a laugh, and yes, to keep that up, and not to fall asleep. So also, wasted time is visible. Bad hygiene or digestive habits are visible. Not very kind partnerships are visible. Not very good looking or not very kind, not very perfect things are going to be obvious during this time. And that's where also I quite often fixate in my own life. Do you sometimes do that? Do you sometimes see a problem and go, oh my gosh, and you just like spend your whole day thinking about it? Sometimes you can spend days thinking about something, and I've also done that recently, and I found that I've actually missed out on quite a few things, because it's not about things that have been, it's about things that are happening right now, and it's about catching the breeze. It's about catching the moment. It's about being young, fun, and awake enough, no matter your age or story or situation, to be able to get the gist of the story that is being played out in front of you. And it's not just you and your job or your career, your path, your ancestors, your kids, and your husband or wife. It's about all of it singing a beautiful song. It's about all of it doing itself. And it's about having a certain type of humor or sense of justice sometimes. It's about catching the rift, it's about catching the dream and enjoying her, enjoying this feeling, enjoy these different colors, enjoy these different histories, enjoy these different, shops or types of food or different types of psychologies. Catch the dragon by the tail, live a little. Yeah. So I'm going to go directly to the charts in case I missed anything out. Let's have a look. Okay, so I got these two charts in front of me. So, Gemini Jupiter is very, very ugly sometimes when it first comes in. We have to develop it sometimes. Breath, laughter, humor, feeling a fool sometimes can happen at the start of Jupiter going through Gemini. Feeling foolish with other people, playing a game of ego, doing things that you shouldn't do, and maybe also bossing people around. But then helpfulness also comes through. It can be very committal, and it can also be very thorough. Now, what you don't want to do is be any one of these extremes. You don't want to be like a difficult person, and then also you don't want to be over helpful. It's just about relevance. Sometimes if you have a Jupiter in your third house or Jupiter in Gemini, naturally I have mine in my third house naturally, you'll know it as a casual feeling, as a casual day with no attachments. You probably know what you like, you know the fashion sense you like, you know the people you like, you know the style of life you want, and then that's it. It doesn't actually really have to matter, and some of it, it's trivial. It's just a book that you're reading at the end of the day. It's just a phone. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't need to matter. So it's just about being cool, calm, and collected. Jupiter in Gemini is kind of about popularity, about knowing how to say things and how to do things that mean something, but also not like ping with meaning. It doesn't have to be painful. Like the conversation doesn't have to be awkward, It's just about kind of being cool and being charming. And in a sense, also with this Venus walking into Gemini, she would have crossed paths with Gemini today actually, as I'm recording this on the 27th, conjunction of Jupiter and Venus directly, she'll walk into Gemini, and what she will present us is sometimes kind of unsightly, and sometimes it is about fashion of the 80s or 90s. Like, she likes to kind of play with time. Jupiter would have helped her evolve a little bit. So as we are here, we are evolving very, very fast, and the journey is very obvious for some people, and the joy of life is very obvious. They can kind of catch the drift, if you can imagine. And then Venus should bring up some very cool topics during this month. It will bring up relevant things, and then it will leave it as that, because she is not strong enough to carry everything on her shoulders. This Gemini Venus is not made for hard work. She's not made to do things that are dark or difficult. She just likes to evolve things and put little pieces, little bits, little fragments, little sparkle around the place, as she'll pave the path for the sun, as well as they're conjunct through some of this journey during Gemini. But she's not going to bring in that which you need sometimes, and you have to be fine. If you are a parent, if you have children, you might see that children try to teach us things all the time. They are working overtime, teaching each other, themselves, and us, and the world things. So that extroversion that a child has sometimes is really sacred, and what they will bring up in a conversation, or what they will show you, or the different objects that catch their eye, are very, very sacred. This we don't usually want to know, because a parent or an adult works intensely on relevance and structure, and maybe commerce, what you need to do, what other people are doing. So it kind of forgets what it really needs, and the child will bring up the things and thoughts and feelings and metaphors sometimes that a parent will not be able to detect. So this is what I'm saying here. This Venus is like a child. She's dancing through life. She's picking up whatever looks good to her. She's kicking up a storm. Maybe there are storms in the area where you live, or there's just a feeling of, hey, how about this? How about that? Hey, did you see this? Did you see that? She's bringing things also from the past in order for them to be seen. So it's a very clever time. It's kind of like a juggling time, and it's about looking good and feeling peaceful, being cool, calm, and collected. But it's not just about that. It's not just about being graceful. It's also about being fun and being fond of everything that actually really feels good or right to you. It's about inertia, as I said. It's about instinctual thinking patterns, and it's just about faith. And quite often we will miss out on that if we are too wound up in our little world, if we are too messy as well, or we don't really know how to get our life done, how to make it make sense. And if we kind of disappear from ourselves because we are too busy making sense of who we are and what we've got to do. So the other things that are lucky or interesting in the sky, yes, of course, just having a look. Mars next to Chiron, he's going to be progressing into Taurus during this month. And there is this interesting Mercury and Uranus conjunction quite close to Jupiter. At the beginning of the month, what do you have to do? People have so much to do, they are really handling things. There are some very awake people that have realized what they've done for the last 7 years or 5 to 7 years is enough. There are coaches coming through this time that don't want to see the world as a burdensome, burnt out place. They want to stopping patterns, hereditary patterns. Cancer is going to be about parents. It is going to be about homes. It is going to be about us making sense to ourselves and each other. It's not just about this. It's about making a life, or making a home, or making a pattern that lasts and lasts and lasts and has nothing strange about it. So Cancer really wants normality by the end of June. I'll be talking more about Cancer in the July's audio or video. There's going to have to be some time spent with ancestors, with parents, sitting down, checking the paperwork, having a look. If you do not have it to do what you really want to do, if you have enough or not enough to buy that new property, or if you have enough strength in yourself, in your core, to be able to suffice, or to be able to carry yourself further. So it's very, very strong. Cancer is about strength. It's about resilience. It's going to be about talking to those people and having meaningful discussions. And it's also about having these meaningful conversations with yourself to be able to see, should you be able to focus your energy in the next few years on that which you need, as we will have Mercury walking through Cancer this month, also of June. She wants us to see, can we hack it? Can we afford it? If you want to bring up a family, will you be able to make it? If you want to get married, is it a good idea? Do you have what it takes for this particular choice or this method of life? So there's going to be some darkness, and there's going to be some hunger for results. If you have always had a hungry feeling, like I want what I want, I can't believe I still haven't got it, I need this, I need that, or I need to be at this level or this position in life, you will not maybe feel very sane or very safe during Gemini. And Cancer is going to get worse. So for result-seeking people and people that are seeking answers, that are constantly complaining about what they've got to do or how their life has been or how it has matched itself, wait, stop. Things are going to work themselves out. You will have a lot happen that will help you. It just sometimes how it happens is not how you expect it. The worst thing is to be clinging for dear life to your ideas and ideologies and what you've expected. This is the worst case scenario. Clinging on to that person, clinging on, claiming a space, being afraid that you won't or you cannot get what you want. Cancer's not going to help you then. The point of Gemini is to get relaxed and to be just fine and have a bit of fun. Cook for other people, do things, offer a service. Is also really great to find a person that you can learn and teach with. You know, it's really nice to have fun. It's nice to have conversations, but the truth is, we are going into a slow burning classic Cancerian time this year. It's going to be a little bit harsh for some people. Cancer is going to be really in its full during this last piece of June, and she's going to help you. She's going to ask you to say hello to responsibility and to be very appropriate and to be very classic and to be very day by day to the point and very specific about who you are and maybe what you want to do, and she's going to try to match you. But this is going to be hard, and for some people it's going to be hungry. So we are going into a very serious murmur by the end of the month. If you don't like that feeling already, like I'm talking about the serious stuff, you don't like it, you don't have any time for it, I salute you, that's fine. It's good to get aggressive in Gemini and say, I don't care. I don't give a rat's bottom about this. I don't want this. I just want to play. I just want to have fun. I just want to have friends over, But as we all know, frivolous behavior also may not necessarily compute things when they get hard. So if you're constantly spending money or talking a lot or doing nothing to help yourself or other people, there's going to come to a very, very barren ending by the end of June. If you don't want to talk to anybody, also if you don't want to do anything, you're very stuck and very noisy about only what you think is important and what you think is right, you may not get enough air or enough momentum during Gemini to actually eventually have a beautiful life, because that's where we're going. And as I said earlier, there are some people that are walking away from hard done angry realities and actually would love to just have a beautiful life. And even if your parents or your communities, parts of society where you belonged earlier, have groomed you specifically to endure that which they have somehow come to be. It's like carrying a giant boulder on your shoulders. You'll need to maybe suffice unless you are healthy and happy and you're interested, just like I am interested, in improving your life. And this is very easy for some people. Some people can just go to a yoga class and enjoy themselves. Some people are very easily led by other people. They will just hop on the bandwagon wherever and they'll just do what other people say. And that's actually a really good quality during Gemini. It's not necessarily about being compliant. It's just about being easy to awaken or easy to play. And I understand that sometimes awakenings can come as a barrage of stuff. It's just not about fixation. So while you have the time on your hands, while you have the energy, try to go for it. Just do whatever. Take the moment, learn through inertia, learn through, maybe even new habits or new knowledge. It's a little bit weird, it's a bit crazy, bits and pieces, it's not very serious. Try to get together with people that really mean something though by the end of the month. So the end of the month, as we're heading towards the end of June, We can't really afford to just be wherever, whatever. So it's like a backpacker coming home and then having to set up at home again. Or it's like people that have to consider their dollars and cents again, or they have to consider what are they going to do at the end of the day. So that heaviness and also this healthiness actually is coming in Cancer. So this whole idea of doing what you want and programming your reality and you each and every day, and being brisk and crazy and not shy is so great until we get to the end. And the point will be made by the time that Cancer kicks in. So as we go into the solstice time, that I may as well do an audio or video for as well, the solstice is going to really measure out who you are, where you're from, and where you now need to be. So if you can imagine the joy of Gemini, the laughter, the funny business, the monkey business, the craziness, the joy, the information, the randomness, the words or, the habits, the funny faces, inevitably get really kind of stuck during Cancer. It's already stuck. They get hollowed out, they get understood, and then wait, but truly, okay, done laughing, now you go over here. So life, in a weird way, in a very sort of cardinal way, because Cancer is a cardinal sign, it's going to be like now wait, now here is your choice. Now you do this or you do that. It's going to be kind of dark for some people, and I understand that even some of the more prepared and more civilized people may have a very hard time in Cancer. So what I have to say is we don't have any hope yet. As I'm reading this now, we don't have any real true information. We don't have any real true energy to give us that which we want. We don't have all the components, and we don't have all the behavior ironed out. We're still a little bit oblivious. Even if you're one of the most propped up and prepared person in the world, you'll still be oblivious about at least something. We are still a little stupid or foolish. Even if you've learned so much, even if you have a doctorate, you will still be a little stupid. Even if you're the most educated person in the world, during this time, as you can't see it all. And that's the beauty and the peace that I'm also feeling during these days. You cannot know everything. Life will put things into your view. She will put things on your plate, or she will show you things or usher in things that are not known of. And either they are here to, stick around a little bit and solve some puzzles for you, or they are like a little bit of chaos or other, they're trivial things, weird things, funny things. They're going to inevitably line you up to a new personality, in some cases to a new self-representation or a new order within who you are. In some cases, when we are in alignment with life, and as we are learning through it freshly, and as we are focused on the moment, in some cases we can become so wise and aware of life, and we can become so good at conversations with God or conversations with reality in the moment that we are exposing ourselves to. We can breathe in a new version of fate, and we can bring a completely new skill level or completely new information level into our lives. So this is like expanding way past your ancestors, expanding way past what you thought you would have, could have, should have done, and breathing in a totally new vibration. That's a very, very kind and open-hearted person that you'd have to be able to handle this. Enjoying life to such a frequency where you basically rub out the previous pattern. That's a very awake person. That takes years to learn sometimes. And some of the time is just about knowing it's nurturing and it's good for you to express and experience and expose yourself to that which is the now. In whatever way you can. It is an initiation sometimes. It hurts. The sun is too bright. The people are too crazy. Or that person told me this, or that person pointed a finger at me. Try not to bring that into your world as much. Even if you do, okay, it's fine. It's more just about everything and how it likes to express itself. And it's not about you alone at home, I hope. And it's not about you and who you were and your story and your narrative and your children only like mattering in the world. It's just about all of that which is real, all of that which is physical and sensory, having a laugh or having a joy. And it's all mulched into this one big creation that is exposing itself to itself, which is the most funnest and joyful place to be. And then eventually, inevitably, Cancer is going to hook you up. Cancer, it's about, look, now here, you go here, and now you do that. And that's it. And case closed. It doesn't want you to do any more. Cancer sometimes can be very condemning. So this particular part of the year can be very futile for some people to change. So for example, being put into a jail cell, that's it. You probably will not move for a long time. Being committed to something or somebody during this time is very, very healthy for some people as well. But it's very stern, like marriage, the ball and chain, as they say, with this Jupiter, trailing through the 12th house to Cancer. So it's going to be very, very stern, like big results, like robust feelings. In certain cases, it is going to be very mean. It's like, well, you're this kind of guy. You're this kind of character, so you get to play this part in the Matrix. You're just this kind of guy. And then that's going to change you. And sometimes we get roped into things because of what we said or what we thought when Jupiter was very alive, close to the sun. As Jupiter now is basically in conjunction to the sun, as I'm speaking about this, it's a very, very good and healthy life that you should be having. So we are now at the end of May, as I'm recording this. Try to be as healthy and happy and well-placed, well-spaced, and beautiful and big. Like, try to enjoy. Try to say yes, be open to the world, be open to people's faces, be open to the time that you're having, whatever you're handling in life, say thank you, And then this brilliance, this shininess, eventually transforms you and your character or characters that you have been programmed to be. So you're no longer the sad person, you're a happy person, even if it sounds like a really shallow thing to say. You're no longer a dark person. You're wearing color. Just put yourself in some colorful clothes. Honestly, this is all it takes for some people. You're no longer a giving, caring, waiting around person. You're proactive, exquisite, jumping at the chance to improve, jumping at the chance to experience person, to expose yourself to something. So from a very negative, we see a huge potential positive. And from a very, very slow, we see a quickening. And from a not very alive, we see an enlivening. So from a not very nurtured, we see hyper-nurtured and healthy people coming through at the end of the month. If you can take this chance and take this invitation to take this force of nature that is working with us at the moment, to follow the most beautiful, brilliant, and happening rhythm and route that you can find, and just enjoy it. And sure, sometimes life will give you ironic situations and conclusions. Sometimes you thought this would be a friendship, but it was only just a moment. You thought this would be a job, but it was just a job interview and didn't go further than that. And that's fine. It's not about permanence. Once again, it's not about what you keep. It's not about jealousy. It's not about sticking yourself there. It's not about being safe at all during Gemini. It's about the many things that could have, should have, would have happened in your life as well. In some cases, in many cases, you can actually catch up to your youth. You can age backwards. You can find yourself way back in your 20s again. You can follow the route that was actually meant to be so many years ago. It's just that you didn't notice it, because you were too hardwired, or you were too drunk on your power, or you were too obsessed with your family tree. And that's when we have a more whimsical and more funky and more valuable presence, or a more connected and contained person coming out by the end of the month. So if you can imagine, you will become a pearl. Gemini is kind of like the force that it takes to create a gem, or to create a jewel. And then inevitably, Cancer will see you through. It is just a little rough sometimes, but I will be preparing you for the time when the time comes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, YouTube, and thank you so much, Patreon. And of course, in the caption below this video on YouTube, you should find all the links. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.